what they pay me for, so I'm going to do my best. Senator Tammy Duckworth. Senator Tammy Duckworth has sacrificed so much for this country on a battlefield in Iraq and in that building right there. And she is the only elected representative who's taken this stage today. That tells us something. You know what? Words fail me. I'm just going to hand the mic to Senator Duckworth. It's an honor.
Thank you. Wow, what a turnout. First off, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who made this afternoon possible. And I'm honored to get the chance not only to speak today in my capacity as a senator, but also to listen to all of you, as one of you, as a fellow veteran. Because I may currently be a member of Congress, but in my heart, first and foremost, I will always be a soldier. And I am damn proud of that. I am here today because, like you, I love this nation. In fact, I love it more than I do my own life, which is why I was willing to lay down my life to defend this nation when this nation called, just as you did. I know that you are here because, like me, we are sick of politicians promising to look out for veterans when they are on the campaign trail and then abandoning them when they take office. I am sick of military families being treated like crops. And I am sick of people in power wrapping themselves in the flag with their left hand and then with the other signing off on orders that sell out our heroes to line their own pockets. You deserve better. You've earned better. After all, since the first shots rang out at Lexington and Concord, since the Tuskegee Airmen took the skies to defend a nation that still wouldn't let them sit in the same lunch counter as their white peers, since the members, the Nisei Battalion, volunteered to serve even as the nation put their families into internment camps, since our warriors landed on the beaches of Normandy on this very day 81 years ago, those who have worn the uniform have defied the odds to define America at her best. America is what she is today because of the blood our brothers and sisters shed in combat zones. Our children grow up with the rights that they deserve because of the sweat that's poured down our faces, everywhere from the dust of Fallujah and Kandahar to the jungles of Vietnam. Our sacrifices were the currency we paid to defend America's freedoms. And even as I stand here on these titanium legs, with the wheelchair that I proudly earned by my side, I would not take back those sacrifices in a second. Because America is worth it. As flawed as she may be, she is worth it. I know some of us here hung up our uniforms long ago, but looking out at you all, I see people who recognizes that in this perilous moment for our country, our mission today is not too different than what it was when we served in uniform. To defend the Constitution, to protect this democracy, to defend freedoms, and to keep our nation as strong as she should be. That is why each of you here today took off work, traveled from every pocket of this country, and showed up in this wonderful muggy heat today. It's not even a dry heat. Not because it was easy. Guys, it's never easy. But because we love this country enough to try to shape her for the better, even when the road ahead is hazy, even when the task ahead is daunting. We've come together this afternoon because even if we're no longer wearing the uniform, we are always wearing the flag on our shoulder, facing forward. here because we are not afraid to call out the wrongs that need to be righted or to call out wannabe kings that need a history lesson. We are here because we refuse to see the democracy that we fought so hard for get dismantled. Because we refuse to let the health care and benefits our buddies rightfully earned be gutted. And because we refuse to let thousands of veterans who choose to continue serving this nation as federal workers be fired for no apparent reason. Of the over 6,000 veterans this president has fired, it includes folks who were working at the Veterans Crisis Line, for God's sake. The veterans there. The veterans there are doing some of the toughest work imaginable to support our heroes in their absolutely darkest hour. These are the people the administration has kicked to the curb over the past few months. That should tell you everything you need to know about how the guys in power actually feel about us vets. So let's be clear. The only reason they're doing all of this is to try to pick our veterans' pockets, our taxpayers' pockets, so that they can give even tax breaks to the rich guys they pal around with on their golf courses. Let me say this another way. They care more about allowing billionaires to buy yet another private jet than ensuring that our veterans have access to the benefits that they have earned. They care more about stroking Donald Trump's ego. I'm an old air assault pilot, guys. They have to censor me. Anyway, they're stroking Donald Trump to the tune of a $30 million birthday parade. You know what they should do? I asked the Secretary of the Army yesterday, dictator, why would you do that? He said, well, you only get to celebrate the Army's 250th birthday once. And I said, well, wouldn't it be better to celebrate the Army's 250th birthday by spending $30 million on military families' child care? Or maybe let's spend that $30 million to save veterans' jobs. Or how about making better access to health care for veterans? So let's call what it is. This budget bill is a middle finger to our heroes. Where's that middle finger? Raise that thing high. It's a slap in the face to the sacrifices that our veterans have made. Frankly, it's bullshit. And every one of us who serves should feel insulted. I certainly do, and I bet some of you do too. They're even firing fully trained, fully qualified members of our military who are parts of teams who are trans. People who earn their positions, as opposed to Pete Hegseth, who didn't earn his other than by sucking up to Donald Trump. I say keep the trans service members and fire Pete Hegseth. Listen, the important thing now is to channel our outrage into action. A couple months after my Black Hawk was shot down in Iraq, a United States Senator named Dick Durbin walked into my Walter Reed hospital room and gave me his phone number, saying to call him anytime if I or any of the other patients around me needed some help. I'm not sure that he thought I would take his words quite literally, because there's only 2 service members from Illinois at the time, but I called him anyway, a lot. I called him way, way too much. At the time, I was the highest ranking amputee on the ward, and I had a lot of senior NCOs who were also amputees. So we all felt responsible for the men and women around us. So I kept on ringing up a United States Senator to help me help these folks get their pay, get their benefits, even to help get that one damn elevator in the hospital we needed to take to go to 07 formation in our wheelchairs working again. At that point, I know, we're in wheelchairs and they're making us go to 07 formation. Fuck that. At that point, I was so early in my recovery that I could barely sit up for 15 minutes at a time. But when Dick Durbin looked at me, he saw past the wounds, he saw past the wheelchair, he saw a soldier in need of her next mission. And he recognized long before I did that just because I could no longer fly Black Hawks for the Army didn't mean that I couldn't find a new way to serve my nation. And then he said the words that changed my life. He told me that I could best help veterans around me by running for Congress myself. I thought he was nuts, but it turns out he was right. So all these years later, I am asking each of you to take on that new mission too, and many of you already have. Because personally, I am sick and tired of a guy who was never brave enough to serve, claiming that America, that some of our buddies died for, isn't already great. And it pisses me off that a man who cried burn spurs when his nation needed him the most, a 5-time draft-dodging coward who calls fallen service members suckers and losers, it pisses me off that that guy would use our heroes as political pawns to get elected, then screw them over so badly once he took office. So if you are pissed off too, if you think veterans deserve better than to be fired by the thousands, if you think our buddies deserve more than to have their health care ripped away because Trump wants to put another dollar into a rich guy's pockets, well then I need you by my side. Let's make sure that our fields of fire overlap in this fight. I need you to think of today not just as a singular moment, but as the start of our new collective mission. A mission to stand up for the buddies we served with, to do right by the warriors who came before us, and to look out for all of those men and women still serving in uniform. Those young soldiers and sailors, those Marines and airmen and coasties who are ready to sacrifice everything at the drop of a hat should the drums of war start beating again like they did for many of us when we served. Look, I get how in this moment it'd be easy to feel defeated, to want to tune out rather than turn on the news. But now, more than ever, we can't let ourselves become disengaged because there is too much at stake to get discouraged. The reality is there will always be people in big fancy buildings who try to use their power to only look out for themselves. But here are 3 things I know. First, the power of the people is always greater than the people in power, at least in this country. Second, those of us here today have never been too scared to take on a tough mission, especially when it means protecting the democracy that we fought so hard and long to defend. And third, we veterans, we sure as hell would never leave a fallen comrade behind. Whether that was one of our buddies on the battlefield or now one of the folks getting fired or left without care at the VA. So if we want tomorrow to be better than yesterday, we have to come together. We have to recognize that our voices do still matter. Then we got to use those voices to speak out, even if, and actually especially when, anyone tries to silence us. Let them try. Because we veterans have always been the ones helping to keep this nation as strong as she should be. And this moment is no exception. And along the way, you have my word that I will be there with you. We're in this together. And I will always live by the soldier's creed, never ever leaving a fallen comrade behind. It's an honor to call myself part of this team and to have you as my battle buddies in this fight. Thank you. God bless America.